Hello students. Students, after having understood who is a poor, what is poverty, what are the features, we will now understand poverty a little in depth. Measurement of poverty. There are two types of poor when measured. How? The first one is absolute poor and the second is relatively poor. Absolute poor means a person who cannot buy his basic essentials. Person who cannot buy food grains, pulses, milk, vegetable at lowest market rate. We are not talking about premium rates. Even the least of the least market rate products also, if he cannot buy, he is absolutely poor. So he is known as an absolute poor. Whereas when income of two people is compared and one of them have a higher income in comparison with the another, so the first one with lesser income is relatively poor. If I give you example, whether MS Dhoni is poor or Virat Kohli, you might be amazed that what are you saying? None of them is. But when the income in terms of amount of MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli is compared, one will have lesser than another. So the one having lesser is relatively poor than the another. Understood? So relative poverty is a concept to measure the income of two people and finding out who is comparatively poor. It's not that he is absolutely poor. So students, absolute poverty concept is for developing nations where maximum people tend to be poor, and relative poverty is a concept that is more prevalent in developed nations where people are not absolutely poor, but then one could be relatively poor with another. So these are the measurement of poverty, the absolute poverty and relative poverty. Now children, I want to produce some facts, some data related to poverty in India. In order to measure that how much amount if I am earning or if I have, can I be poor? So yes, there is expenditure method of a family found out, wherein if you are living in a village that is in a rural area, and if you have 4,080 rupees, then you can run your entire month well with your basics. And if you are in a city that is in an urban area, you need 5,000 rupees to survive for your basics. Isn't this amount very less? I mean, can a family with 5,000 rupees in any city manage with the basics for the entire month? I don't think so. And having such vague numbers, such less numbers, we still have higher poverty. How much? In 2011, according to UNDP, that is United Nations Development Parameters, 21.9% people were poor in India. As in 21% poor people were not able to manage this amount also. And according to World Bank, if you see, then a person earning $1.9 is in the scale of poverty. Below that you are poor. And according to this number, $1.5 daily, there were 32.7% poor people in India. Now look at the difference, 21 and 32, more than 10% gap when this income level is raised. So this is a sad part. A country having huge population is also having huge proportion of poor in the country. Now, in which state there are more poor, in which state there are lesser is mentioned here. So highest poverty in India is in Chhattisgarh, that is 36.9%. So we can roughly say that out of every 140 live below poverty line. And the least poverty is in Goa, only 5.09, that is only 5 out of 100 they live below poverty line. So far as Gujarat is concerned, in Gujarat it's 16.63%. So out of every 100, roughly 17 or maybe at max 20, they live below poverty line. So students, this fact, this data is not sufficient for us to know that why it happened. But this is the scenario, this is the fact. These are the statistical data. You need to remember them to produce an answer that looks technical. And you need to remember them for objective viewpoint too. Students, these are number of poor people, that's the data, these are the types of poor. But In village and city, the category of poor people differs. In village, that is, who will be a rural poor? He could be a landless laborer. He does not have even small patch of land wherein he can do farming and manage for his basics. He could be a farm laborer who is paid very less for very much of long prolonged hours to work. He could be a marginal farmer. So let me explain you the category. There are 4 types of farmers from viewpoint of the land holding. A farmer who's owning 0 hectare to 1 hectare. 0 to 1 hectare is known as a marginal farmer. A farmer owning 1 to 4 hectares of land is a small farmer. A farmer owning 4 to 10 hectares of land is a medium farmer, and a farmer with more than 10 hectares of land is a big farm. In India, number of marginal farmers is quite huge. That is, number of farmers owning 0 to 1 hectare land. Imagine the size, such a small farm, no equipments, no facility, maybe a crop failure, maybe absence of irrigation, maybe no rain, maybe some attack of insects would ruin their life for a year. So these marginal farmers could be rural poor. Beggars, obviously, their profession is highly uncertain. Forced laborers, the one who is forced to work with very meager wages, very less amount they are paid for. Sometimes 10 to 20 rupees a day and they have to work whole day. Couldn't manage their livelihood, right? They will be poor. Tribals, people living in tribal region, people having a specific skill, whether that is in demand or not, it has no correlation with, but then they are poor because they don't have any other way to make money. Forest inhabitants, highly nature dependent, not much into economic activity, obviously will have lesser amount and they will tend to be poor. Urban poor. Urban as in city. Urban poor are different than these people because they could not be farm laborers, they could not be marginal farmers. Near farming there is no farming. So urban poor is categorized with those people who could be either domestic workers, they are working for small petty jobs. They could be workers of tea stalls, cleaning the vessels, cleaning the premises, getting paid very less. Garage workers, they are not mechanics, they are just human robots who are supposed to fetch weight and do petty works, and they are paid very less. And daily wage workers. Today I have work, I have got paid. Tomorrow I have again got to find new work. I might get work, I might not get work. So they are daily wage workers. They get paid daily without a certainty whether they will get work for the next day, for the another next day, for the next month. So these are the type of people whom we can say they are urban poor because their profession, their work is related to city area, and these people, their profession, their work is related to village area.